Hi guys, welcome back to Yoga with Jules. So today I have a practice prepared for you guys for post-run yoga. So if you've just gotten back from a run or a nice brisk walk and you feel like you need a little cool down and a little stretch, this is the perfect practice for you. But even if you haven't just done some intense cardio, it's a really good stretch sequence to improve the flexibility in the legs, the hips, and the low back. So really good all around, every day of the week kind of practice. For today's practice, if you want to have a prop with you, either a strap if you have one, or even just a scarf, will really do the trick. We're just going to use it for a little bit of added support to bring us through our stretches today. So without further ado, get into your comfy clothes, or if you've just been running, I'm sure you're already in your stretchy pants, and I'll see you on the mat. Alright, so we're going to get started today just in our easy cross-legged position. So as usual, just kind of softening into the breath here. Coming into the body. You can leave the eyes closed just for this portion of the video. So just focusing on slowing down here. Getting that heart rate down if you really did just get back from some intense cardio. Now all together here, you can open the eyes if you want, or keep them shut. You're going to take the biggest breath you've taken all day, and on your inhale, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears, as close as you can get them to the ears. Retain the breath for just a second. And now exhale through the mouth. Okay, let's do that one more time. Inhaling. Biggest breath you can possibly take. Keep going. Shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, deep sigh out through the mouth. Drop the shoulders. Awesome. We're going to float the fingertips up overhead here, really grounding down through the sit bones. Maybe walking them out a little bit if you need to get a better base here. And we're going to grab for opposite elbows over the head. So it doesn't matter which way you grasp here, just opening up through the chest, really getting a nice open front here, front of the body. Inhaling, stretching through all four sides of the body, and exhale over to the right side for a side bend here. So trying to keep that left hip grounded down. And this is a really nice grasp here on the arms to be able to really intend the chest open, the heart shines towards the ceiling. One more deep inhale here, really expand through the left side body. And exhale, coming back to center. So whatever grip you have right now, change it, just to get a little variety in here. Inhaling, opening up through the chest, maybe pressing the elbows back a little bit to get even more of a shoulder opener here. Inhale and exhale to side bend to the left. So opening up through the right side of the body again, really opening up so that the chest is shining up towards the ceiling. And the gaze doesn't have to be up at the ceiling here if you're finding that to be a little bit of strain in the neck. One more deep breath. Exhale back to center. Awesome. So releasing your grasp here, just floating the fingertips up and over, reach through the fingertips. And exhale to come and fold over the shins. Just for a nice spinal stretch here. Feel free to round through the back, drop the head. Maybe shake the head, yes and no. Beautiful. One more deep breath here, really feeling the back body expand as you inhale. And coming a little bit closer to the mat as you exhale. Lovely. So we're going to walk the fingertips until we're all the way back up to our cross-legged position. And just let the right leg come out extended, keeping the left heel nice and close up to the groin. Great. So again, like I was saying before, if you want to kind of walk the butt out from under you here to get a nice firm base. And we have our handy dandy scarf here. So whether you have a strap or a scarf, keep it handy for this pose because it could be your best friend. Inhaling, arms to reach up and overhead, really stretching through all four sides of the body once again. Toes are facing up towards the face here. And we're going to inhale, exhale to twist the trunk so that the abdomen is over the thigh. And exhale to start to forward bend forward for head to knee pose, Janu Sirsasana. So grounding down through the left knee as well. It's going to help you to be able to maintain this twist here. So just forward folding here until you feel a pretty decent stretch. And this is where, well, we can drop the hands if you feel comfortable here and just let the head hang heavy. But if you need a little bit of extra support, just go ahead and grab your scarf, loop it right over the arch of the foot, and voila. So really not using the scarf totally to depend on this, getting you through this stretch, but just a little extra support just to keep you, centered over the thigh and to keep the stretch in the calf here. So every inhale makes you a little longer in the spine, and every exhale brings you a little bit further into the stretch. Now this pose is called head to knee pose, but if your head is not actually on your knee, which I don't really expect for most of you it would be, it's not for me, that's okay, it's still head to knee pose. You are intending the head down to the knee. Awesome, so one more deep breath here, wherever you are, and if you're up here, that's totally cool. Really making use of the scarf if you're pretty tight in the back of the legs. Okay, and wherever we are, last exhale, release the scarf or strap. Keep it handy, maybe in front of you here. And we're just going to slowly walk it back up to center. Now bringing the left palm right behind the left hip so that the fingertips are facing back towards whatever's behind you, a window for me, but and then lift up through the hips, rolling out onto the left shin. Reach up and behind you. So pointing through the toes, pointing through the fingertips. Nice front body stretch. Exhale, release. Now from here, we're going to bring the right foot flat on the mat and using the arms to bring it over the left knee. So we're going to go into a twist here. So getting comfortable. I find if my left knee is too parallel here to the long edge of the mat, it kind of feels like my knee is going to snap. So if it feels like that for you, don't do it. So lifting up through the chest here. We have a few options for this pose. You can bring the right arm around the right knee. I was twisting the wrong way, sorry. You can bring the left arm around the right knee. Lift up through the chest, bring the right arm behind the hip, and twist. So with every inhale, just like I said before, allowing the spine to just elongate, maybe half an inch. Exhale brings you further into the twist. So another modification here, you can bring the elbow just to the top of the knee. Bring the arm out straight. If you have the elbow propped up here, you may want to take a little mudra, if that feels right to you, whatever you want. And again, just like we were doing with the scarf, we're not using the arm to pry us through the twist here. It's just for a little added support. So really using that the abdominal muscles to really facilitate the twist. Nice. So one more deep breath here, really lifting up through the spine. half an inch further in this twist. Exhale. And release slowly and with control. Do a quick counter pose here. So bringing both arms to the left side. Just a quick bend to the other direction. Awesome. Back to center. We're going to do the same thing, extending the left leg this time. Getting comfortable in your seat here. Maybe if you used the scarf last time, just set it up for easy access this time, right around the arch of the foot. Awesome. So inhaling, float the fingertips up and overhead, stretching through all four corners of the body. Exhale to twist over the left leg. And exhale, continuing that exhale to start to bring you down towards head to knee pose. So even if you're using the scarf, just try to stay here for a couple of breaths, just to really feel out the pose. Toes are shining up towards the face. Inhale and exhale to drop the arms on either side of the left foot. So if you're using your scarf, again, just getting nice and comfortable here. Just a moderate amount of pull on the scarf here, so not totally prying you into the stretch. Let the head hang heavy. Coming back to the breath here. Maybe trying to do some of that ujjayi breathing so you can really hear it. I find that a good way to not forget about your breath throughout your practice, is make it loud. Make it super annoying for everyone else around you. Okay, one more breath here. And release. Back to center. Keep the scarf somewhere handy because we might use it again in a couple of minutes. And we're going to come to our counter pose here. So the front body stretch, bringing the right hand behind the right hip, reaching up through the left fingertips, rolling out onto the right shin, lift the hips up. So pointing through the toes, reaching out through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale to release. Great, so once again, coming and setting up for our twist, bringing the left leg to the outside of the right knee. I'll say it right this time. We're bringing the right arm over the left knee, getting ready to twist to the left side. So left hand comes behind left hip. Inhale to sit up nice and tall, and exhale to twist over the left shoulder. And take any variation you want here. So staying here, bringing the elbow to the top of the knee, whatever you would like. So can you twist a little deeper without prying yourself with that elbow? So again, using the abdominal muscles to facilitate the twist. One more deep breath in. And exhale to release. We're coming straight to our counter twist here. Both arms coming over to the right side. And just a quick twist over here. Beautiful. Okay, from here we're just going to come straight into tabletop position. Just at the center of the mat. So knees are under the hips and wrists are directly under the shoulders. And we'll do a quick cat-cow pose here because I can't resist. So inhaling, bringing the chest forward through the gate of the shoulders, reaching the tailbone up towards the sky. Exhale to round through the spine. Feel the shoulder blades come down the sides of the body here. Tuck the tailbone in. Gazes up at the belly button. Awesome. One more time, coming and dropping the belly. The cow pose. Really pulling the chest forward. And exhale to round through the spine. Cow pose. Nice. Going back to center here. We're going to curl the toes under, coming to our first downward dog of the day. Walking the hands just about maybe a foot forward. And we're going to press into all 10 fingers, especially the pointer finger and the thumb. Externally rotate through the upper arm bones and reach the hips up high. Oh yeah. That feels awesome. So actually today we're going to start really high up on the toes with the knees bent so that the tummy is coming right towards the tops of the thighs. And we're going to stay here for about 30 seconds. And with every breath, we're focusing on reaching the tailbone up a little bit higher, straightening through the legs just a little bit, and intending the heels down towards the mat. And if you're already there, if you're comfortable having the heels down on the mat already in this pose, then you might want to focus on reaching the tailbone up and bringing the chest down towards the mat. Letting the head hang heavy wherever you are here. About 10 more seconds. If you feel like walking it out here, go right ahead. Awesome. Okay, and from here, we're going to center so that the left leg is centered on the mat, and lift right leg straight up for our three-legged dog here. So we're keeping the shoulders parallel to the mat, so not opening up in either direction, but we're going to allow the hips to open right up here. So bending through the right knee, we're going to lift the right knee up towards the ceiling and press the foot to the opposite side of the room. Right on. So really getting nice and open through the hips here. One more deep breath in, lift the knee a little higher. And exhale, come back through center, knee to nose. And we're lifting up here as if we're trying to walk over some tall grass. Bringing right foot between the hands. Awesome. So we're here in a lifted lunge, the left knee lifted. But of course, there's always the option here to lower the left knee if that feels better for you. But otherwise, staying up here, high up on the fingertips, not much weight in the fingertips, it's just for a little bit of support. Seems to be the theme today. Okay. And you might notice that whenever in these kinds of poses, I'm always like moving around. I find it really hard to stay still. Anybody who knows me can attest to that. But it's also kind of nice to have this forward and backward motion here to really find that sweet spot. So you might find that when your heel is spiking towards the back of the mat, that feels awesome because you're tightening the calf or whatever. Or if you're maybe a little bit more forward on the toes here, you feel a nice stretch through the arch of the foot, and you're like, oh yeah, that is the spot. But wherever you are, as long as you're making sure that the knee isn't like right over the heel here, or coming out over the ankle, sorry, and we're just kind of at a 90-degree angle through the thigh. So one more deep breath here, making sure you're nice and open through the chest and the shoulders are away from the ears. And exhale to lower the left knee. So lay the toes flat on the mat, and we're going to walk the hips back to our runner's lunge here, half splits. So this is a pose I try to do every day. It just feels awesome, and especially for someone like me who's a little tighter in the hips and in the backs of the legs. It's an important one to really free up some space. So it's okay if the knee's a little bit bent, that's totally fine. Actually encourage it, but just try to make sure that the toes are facing up towards your face, and you're feeling a nice stretch through the calf and through the hamstring, and even through the IT band, or out towards the outer hip there. And just let the head hang here, no unnecessary strain in the neck. Okay, just a couple more deep breaths here. All right, and exhale, crawling back forward, bringing both hands to the outside of that right foot. We're going to lift up through the back knee. Really press away from the mat so that you can lift up, slide the toes backwards, and coming into a knee to chest pose here. And so replacing where the foot just was with the knee, we're going to let the shin lay down on the mat and come and sit nice and centered over the hips here. So coming down for our pigeon pose. And I have the strap or the scarf here for this pose, just for an optional extra stretch through the thigh. But if you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. So here we are, over the hip. So trying to I keep the heel nice and close to the groin here, but if you need to, if you have the space and you want to walk it out a little bit further, this will give you a much deeper stretch through the outer hip. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Great. So for our little added challenge here, you take the scarf, form a nice loop in it. We're going to roll out to the outer side of that right hip and just loop it over the back of the foot here. Well, that was an awkward way to do that. You could probably do that in a more efficient way. But just making sure that it's looped over the back of the foot, or the top of the foot. We're going to come back into our pigeon pose so that the hips are nice and square over the mat. And just pull that scarf right over your shoulder like you're lugging a bag behind you. You should feel a pretty intense stretch through the top of the thigh there. So again, only if you feel comfortable here should you do this. Otherwise, just releasing the leg and getting that nice stretch through the hip for pigeon pose. Awesome. So wherever we are, just taking one more deep breath here. And exhale to curl the left toes under. Peel that knee up off the ground, coming back to downward facing dog. So any movement you feel you need here, maybe walk it out just for a second. Awesome. Now centering through the right leg this time. Lift the left knee to the left leg all the way up for three-legged dog. And again, keeping the shoulders square over the mat here. We're going to bend through the left leg, open up through the hips, and try to press that left foot into the wall behind you. Or next to you. To your right. Awesome. Lift the knee a little bit higher here. Inhale and exhale, coming back through center. We're going to lift the knee to the chest, nice and high, like we're trying to walk over some tall grass, and stepping it through the center of the hands here for our high lunge. So, rocking backwards and forwards here, finding that sweet spot. Maybe playing with the distance between the legs here, whether you like to be more in a track with maybe like hip distance apart, or whatever feels comfortable for you. If you want to find a little bit of stillness here, just making sure we're staying open through the chest. One more deep breath here. Inhale, getting a nice deep stretch through that right hip flexor. And exhale to drop the right knee. And right away, walk the hips back for our half splits pose. All right, so toes are trying to come and greet you, shining towards the face here. And we're centered over the hips here, so we're not spilling over to the right side. Getting a nice deep stretch through the back of that left leg. Letting the head hang. And it's okay if the knee's bent. Just keep the toes up. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to roll it back forward. Lift up the back knee. So curl the right toes under, lift the knee. And just like we did before, we're going to slide the left toes back, knee to chest, and lay the knee down between the hands for our pigeon pose. Okay, so get comfortable here. Play with the position of the foot and the knee. Just making sure that the hips are square over the mat here. If you have a pillow or a block or anything handy, you can always place that under the left hip and kind of bring the earth to you. So it makes the pose a little bit less of a challenge for people with really tight hips, like me. Awesome. So opening up through the chest here. We're going to grab our prop, if you so choose, rolling out onto the outer edge of the left hip, looping it around the foot. Coming back into our pigeon pose and slowly, slowly peeling the right foot up off the ground. And if you feel like coming forward a little bit further in this pose and you want to bring your leg with you, this is a great way to do it. Should be feeling a pretty nice stretch here on the outer edge of the hips through the glute. One more deep breath here. Exhale to release. Get your foot out of there. And press through the palms, curl the right toes under, lift up, and coming straight back to downward facing dog. Sweet. And then from here, we're just going to bring the knees back to the mat, coming to tabletop position, and actually walk the knees out wide. So they're at least as wide as the mat, or wider if you have the space. And we're coming for a wide-legged child's pose here. So sitting the hips back. And bring the chest and forehead down towards the mat. And rolling the head left to right. Give yourself a nice little massage in the forehead. Feel a nice opening stretch through the groin, through the low back. Awesome. And that's really all I have for you today, so feel free to stay here as long as you want. Or, roll out onto the back and go for a full final relaxation. But otherwise, I'll see you next time, and thanks so much for joining me today. Namaste.